The following is a 1232 Studios production. It's your What's Up Raiders podcast.
Hello, Raider Nation. This is Gail Dwayne with the What's Up Raiders podcast, and we're going to have a mini episode 3 today, quick hit edition, where we talk about this is going to be our last episode for the day pertaining to the loss against the Washington Commanders on Sunday, September 21st. In case you didn't know, I decided that we weren't going to talk too much and give a full game rewind. I don't know if my stomach could handle it. It's like a big kick between the legs to watch this game. So we decided not to do a full rewind, and we decided that we were going to talk more about what do we expect in a loss like this? What do we expect in the Raiders headquarters? What do we expect from the captains? What do you expect from Pete Carroll to his coordinators to the individual position coaches? What happens? What is the process of examining yourself, breaking down that you're coaching them, like I said earlier, coach them up, coach. The coaches are indeed getting the Raiders to play prepared properly on Sunday. It's a question we have to ask. They came on the field on Sunday and just looked like they walked into a buzzsaw. They got boat raced right out of the stadium. It was 41-24, and it wasn't that close. Insult to injury, we got our butt kicked by Marcus Mariota, who hasn't had a meaningful win in years, and he was kind of a disappointment after being drafted so highly. And then in his, I don't know, what is it, 12 years now he's been in the league, 13 years, and here we are. He's guiding the Washington Commanders, and they just went all up inside the Raiders, kicking that booty. So it was bad. But this is going to be episode 3. We're going to talk about some other things as well. You know, it's easy to look at the offense and see Geno doesn't have any time. He's sitting there. You know, he can spin he can buy himself a little bit more time usually. But sometimes the pocket was just closing in around him, and here comes the arm that grab him up and throw him on the ground. And I think it was another 5 sacks this week on Geno. Ashton Jeanty's getting hit in the backfield 2 and 3 yards. There's routinely 2 and 3 guys in the backfield. 2 guys often hitting Jeanty as he's getting the football 2 to 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And it's just, I think you guys all see what I'm seeing. He's an arm tackle away from breaking a big one. So it's not him. It's the line, and we've got to fix it. But it wasn't just the offense. Let's talk about some of the other things that we're seeing. Again, you got something to contribute to the show. Let's talk about call us, text us, and send us a voicemail at 971-319-2976. In addition, you can hit us up on all the socials. Our email is whatsupraiders@gmail.com. You can see us on X, Blue Sky, TikTok, Reddit, Instagram, and Facebook, and we're all at What's Up Raiders on all of those, or at What's Up Raiders. So be sure to contribute, be sure to follow where appropriately, and be sure to send us a like. We're on YouTube as well. So, take a look here on YouTube, or follow us on all the platforms, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, and some of the others. So, and before we dive in too deep, I want to give a shout out to the Wayne State Wildcats in Wayne, Nebraska. I'm following you guys. You guys are my alma mater, and proud of you for the win. So keep it up, Wayne State. But again, it's easy to point the finger at the offense this week, but it was much more than just the offense looking bad. How many of you guys just literally wanted to throw a TV brick at the TV or throw your plate of food when you saw the Commanders running back run into a pile of Raiders and then burst out the other side for another 60 yards for a touchdown? It was just like that was insult to injury, followed up by a special teams return kickoff. It was just bad. So let's talk about some of the other items. Tackling fell apart. looked like preseason all over again at sometimes, did it not? And our front four generated almost zero pressure for most of the game. Max was being Max. And there was Marcus Mariota slicing and dicing us. The ball was out of his hand pretty quick, but we've got to generate more pressure than that, or anybody in this league is going to carve us up. Marcus had a great passing percentage against us. And like I said, he hadn't had a meaningful win in many years. And there he was in the absence of Jaden Daniels, just looking like an all-pro. It's unacceptable. So I don't know if we played down emotionally because we knew Jaden wasn't going to be there. And, we got a little lax before we got slapped in the face. But, the defense has to do better. They have to be sharper, period. With some tackles and a pass rush, that could have been manageable to the end. I'm not going to say we would have beat these guys this week, but it turned into a nightmare and didn't have to be. I still think the Chargers are a better team, and we played better against the Chargers. Again, we should be getting better each week, not going backwards. Let's talk about special teams just briefly. Special teams gave up explosive returns, including a touchdown, which is a complete, football can be a game of emotions. And when you're getting special teams touchdowns against you, whether it's a kick return, punt return, a block punt, block field goal, those are all will swing your emotions one way or the other. And we just never recovered from that. And it was just, it was bad. So the kick coverage team looked like a sieve. Even Tucker and Lobby couldn't overcome the chaos. I know I wasn't the only one sitting there looking at all those maroon colored jerseys, burgundy, whatever you want to call them, where, there's 4 or 5 guys just manhandling our return guys. I was wondering, was anybody even sustaining any sort of blocks on special teams? It just looked bad. If you're seeing what I'm seeing, or you're seeing something different, let us know. Hit us up now on the voice line. It's 971-319-2976, Raider Nation. Let me hear you. And again, best takes will be played on the air, and we are looking for weekly contributors. Let's move on from the defense and special teams. Oh, give me just one moment here. Let's move on from the defense and special teams, and let's talk about the admin, coaches, administration. Spytech and Brady. Let's talk about Carroll and even a little bit on Mark Davis. We Raider fans, we expected a return to real football. We expected discipline, structure, and competitive grit. After the rain-soaked win in week 1, I think we all had our hopes up. I know as a former quarterback, I was just amazed at how well Geno threw the ball in the rain. But in hindsight, perhaps the rain slowed down the defensive pass rush. And in addition to that, we hadn't put anything on film yet to show our weaknesses. And perhaps the Chargers exposed us. But, we expected to return to real football. And everyone was primed for a 9 to 10-win season. And instead, we kept hearing questions about why Jeanty isn't touching the football enough. And, it really if you guys don't know what a lookout block is, I just saw a lot of lookout blocks from Meredith and Parham. It was just like, hey, Geno, look out, because here they come. And it was lookout block smorgasbord this week, and it was just bad. So let's hope that brain trust of Brady, Carroll, and Spytech, along with the owner, because I know the owner's not happy. I know Mark Davis is probably still fuming. He's the one that owns the team. Let's just hope that the little fire trickles down from Spytech into the building, and Spytech can have a meaningful meeting with both Carroll and the coordinators, and they can figure out how to right this ship, because this is the time to turn it around. Any more loosey-goosey or continue playing like this, and this could get out of hand. So, like I said, we expected more with this brain trust, and I still believe in them, but everybody's got to get on the same page. We felt blindsided. We were so stability and accountability, but we saw Sunday. It looks like we were set up and thrown in front of oncoming traffic. The 405 and 91 are notorious in Southern California for their traffic. And, that's how I can describe it. It's like someone just threw me right in front of oncoming traffic. And let's be real, coaches and administration own a slice of this. This wasn't an accident. With all that experience in the building, they knew we were weak between the tackles in the center guard area. They knew we were weak in the defensive front. They just thought they could cover it up. Well, Sunday proved otherwise. We've put enough on film to be exposed, and I think that the Chargers found our weakness, and it's going to be the Raiders' job from here on out to just get better. They need to go back to more padded practices, and because let's be real, they're all in the same league. They're all professionals, and we're not going against Reggie White, and we don't have Art Shell and Gene Upsaw anymore. But we've got guys that are in this league for a reason. And if they're getting their butt kicked like we saw this Sunday, then maybe it is time to look for some replacements, maybe make a trade, give up some draft capital to save the season. And when I say save the season, I don't mean give up the pay structure and go over budget. What I do mean is get a guy that can contribute for a few years, but we can't be embarrassed this year. And no, I don't suggest that we are tanking for Arch Manning. I'm going to put that out there right now. I don't believe we're tanking for Arch Manning. But if you do, hit me up on that voicemail line. So let's talk about it. Give me your take. Additional things I want to talk about is we need big changes, not window dressing, real adjustments, defensive line rotations. Maybe we've got to figure out how to get more from Tyree. I have to ask the question, are we getting what we expected out of Kuntz? Are we? For a guy that's coming off the injury, are we asking too much of him? And are we getting what we thought we would get out of him? Special team coverage units need to be rebuilt or just practice harder. And perhaps we need a recommitment to physical practice. Maybe we should show these guys a couple of days a week extra of pads and how to, it's kind of like the negative reinforcement. You want to get out of pads and have a nicer, easier practice. Well, show me on Sundays that it's not detrimental to us. So we didn't get that this Sunday. Again, just the last few things in closing. Max Crosby can't be the only source of defensive juice. Others must win their one-on-one matchups. Like, again, are we getting what we expected out of Tyree? Are we getting what we expected out of Kuntz? Are we getting what we wanted out of Booker? The guy from that we got from the Eagles. So, we can't have quarterbacks sitting against us and just slashing us and dicing us. Marcus Mariota, for one, carved us up, and we expect things like that when we play a top 5 or top 8 guy and Herbert, but we should not be carved up like that from Marcus Mariota. Special teams accountability needs to be set. Whoever the special teams coordinator is, why aren't we laying disciplined? And if you get a chance to watch the big returns, you'll see it's just a simple matter of a guy either avoiding contact and running out of his lane, or a guy not being disciplined and getting blocked out of his lane and not holding his ground. And then it's just like a swinging door, and there's the lane for the return man to read and run right down the field. Raider Nation deserves effort and preparation. We know football, and we can see a team that isn't buttoned up. And again, as a former Division II quarterback, I've got a little bit of audacity calling someone out, but I'm just going to call it as I see it. And I just don't think the Raiders are prepared this week. I think it's we didn't block well, we didn't tackle well, we didn't receive well, we didn't run well, and we didn't rush well. So, we're going to deserve to lose games like that when we don't do anything right. And we have to ask is the effort being put in there in the week? So, I'm hoping that I hear things are a little bit tougher this week. without being bad for the locker room. The last thing the coaches want to do is lose the locker room this early. We keep hearing about how great of a coach and motivator Pete Carroll is. Well, I think Coach Carroll needs to dig into his bag of tricks and, pull out a doozy of a solution and get this team righted and moving forward. What do you say? What do you think Carroll needs to do? What do you think the staff needs to do? What do you think these team captains need to do? Give me a call, text, or voicemail at 971-319-2976. Tell me what your changes are and what do you think is realistic right now. So we're going to transition to the end. Again, hit us up on the emails at whatsupraiders@gmail.com, X, Blue Sky, TikTok, Reddit, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. We're at What's Up Raiders or at What's Up Raiders. Hit us up, like our videos on YouTube, subscribe where appropriate, and follow us right along. That's going to be the end of this mini episode 3. Defense and special teams need to wake up, or the season's going to be over before it gets started. Until next time, as always, keep your pride and poise and don't let the poop butts get you down. And Raider Nation, stay strong, stay with the Raiders, and support them. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks.
Raider Nation, be sure to give us a like and subscribe as this helps us to create more Las Vegas Raiders content. Follow us on all of our socials including Instagram, X, TikTok, Reddit, Facebook, and YouTube. You can even call and leave a message or text us at 971-319-2976.